Our practice this evening is going to start in a seated posture. So you can go ahead and come into any version of what that means for you this evening. If you need a little support for your back, feel free to lean up against some sort of a prop. Also, sitting on the edge of a pillow so that your pelvis can tilt forward is a really nice way to relax the hips. Don't be afraid to support underneath the knees as well. You really want to be, Shannon has a great example of this. If one of your legs needs more support than the other, the idea here is to be very comfortable and feel a sense of freedom in the spine so that you can really sit tall. Good. Once you arrive in your seated posture, even before you close the eyes, just take a few moments to rock side to side. So what you're looking for here is to feel each of the sits bones at the base of the spine anchor down into the ground. So feel yourself sort of softening and rooting down into the ground. Once you get that sense, almost as though you're bumping into a boundary on one side or the other, start to sort of lift higher through the spine. Keep lifting energy gentler and gentler, bumping side to side until you feel very tall, very relaxed in the spine. Then you can close the eyes down. Good. All right, before our prayer, let's take a deep double inhalation through the nose. We're going to squeeze the muscles of our body, dynamic tension to flush out any subconscious lingering stress in the body or constriction in muscles. So we'll do it together, double inhalation. Squeeze the muscles and open mouth exhale forcefully. Relax the muscles again. And release. Again. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze until the muscles vibrate. Throw the breath out and release. Again. Squeeze, bringing activation, energy into the body, then release. Okay, deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth exhale. Again, deep breath in. Open mouth exhale. One more time. Breathe fullness into your body. And relax the breath out as it's natural for you. Let's join the hands together in prayer in front of the center of the heart. And we'll have an opening prayer demand. So these are prayer poems from a book called Whispers from Eternity. And these are inspired by Paramhansa Yogananda, the great yogi and avatar of the early 1900s. And you can get a sense of the deep devotion that this prayer holds. And the prayer or the intention that we're setting together, make me feel that everything is joy. I am the foam of happiness, spummed out of the sea of thy joy. I am the ocean, life bounding with the billows of joy. Endless eddies of my laughter spread through all hearts. When the time comes to depart, I will retire to wakeful sleep on the bosom of thy infinite joy, a ripple ever dancing with billows of all joy. I am a bubble of joy, struggling to burst and unite with the ocean of joy. I feel thy joy in all things. Make me a lighthouse of joy also, guiding storm-tossed vessels of life to safety on the shores of thy joy. Let every vine of my activity bear large grape clusters of thy joy. Let me drink the divine wine pressed from the grapes of all life's little joys. Feeling yourself as that little bubble of joy. This is our great journey together, is to expand beyond our current boundaries, our own self-imposed limitations, to expand beyond the sense of self that we have cast in stone as who we are, our personality, our strengths and weaknesses. We're sharing in this potent time together of global transformation. Our culture, this organism, this collective of the human race, for so many years has been like the hungry caterpillar, consuming at an exponential rate, consuming all the resources, endless activity and movement. And now we've been called, we have willingly chosen to unite together in seclusion, in the cocoon of transformation, an opportunity to dissolve any previous ideas of how we viewed ourselves without distractions, moving throughout our days, forced to really look at ourselves and the way that we're living. We are in this period of digesting. Now, there are these very special cells that begin to emerge when the caterpillar enters its cocoon, and they have the most wonderful name. They're called the imaginal cells. And they begin to rise and set a new blueprint for the butterfly to begin emerging. And it's these practices of meditation, of yoga postures, of simplicity of living, generosity of heart to others in a time of need. These are the imaginal cells that are awakening. And they're setting a new blueprint so that when we are free, after this time passes to emerge, that our value systems, the inner structures will never be the same as they were before. Let's just take a moment to breathe that sense into our own lives and to feel the ways that we are being transformed. For some of us, this is illness. Illness is a great transformer in the body. It breaks us down. It really humbles us to a point that we can access the deeper aspects of ourselves. We can reflect on the most meaningful values in our lives when everything gets stripped away. So what is it that you are being called to imagine yourself as new in these times? And feel that you're fine-tuning your ears to not just the outer ears, but the inner listening quality of the heart, to feel what is it that has been in the forefront of my mind and what has been in the background of my mind. What are the things that I shooed away? So if you need to adjust your posture at any time, feel free, but we're going to continue the seated posture with Nadi Shodin, or alternate nostril breathing. If you need to open your eyes to learn how to do this pranayama or breathing practice, you start by folding down the first two fingers of the right hand. Nadi Shodhan begins by covering the right nostril and pushing all the breath out of the left side of the nose. When you're ready to inhale, inhale through the left side, like you're climbing to the peak of the mountain. When you reach the top of the mountain, switch fingers and exhale and descend down the other side, exhaling through the right nostril. The inhale is natural. Again, you rise to the peak, then switch and descend down the other side. Now, the inner focal point as you get the mechanics down for this practice is to feel the breath at the very top of the nose. Your nose is the most direct pathway to the brain. So when you breathe, feel that that breath is touching up into the frontal lobes. It's these alternating currents of inhale and exhale in left and right hemispheres of the brain that begins to bring us into a greater sense of harmonizing. This is the beauty of all of the particular yoga practices, that they're whole in themselves and they bring us, whether we are leaning towards one side or the other, back into a sense of homeostasis or equanimity. The inquiry that is yoga is beginning to observe your own practice and notice where you have the tendency to lean towards one side or the other. Do I have the tendency towards the sleepier or more drowsy sense of energy? Am I more homebound, less active in the world? Am I more self-focused? Or maybe we're leaning in another direction towards hyperactivity, busy, busy, always stirring up one activity after the other. Unable to sit still, restless. Now you can continue this pranayama for several more moments, but when you are ready to release, you just let the final exhale exit out of the left side of the nose. And center all the awareness to the point between the two eyebrows. Look up and rising optimistic viewpoint. Look into the future with those imaginal thoughts. Behold this new sense of self that is birthing from this place of calm feeling, intuitive perception. Keep gazing and expanding your sense of self for these last few moments. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So let's just take a moment here to slowly flutter the eyes back open. Keep most of your awareness internalized as we set for our first posture. We're going to begin in child's pose today. But before we dive into our child's pose, let's just loosen up the hips. So we'll come onto all fours as a way to loosen up the entire body. Shannon's going to demonstrate. Go ahead and step your hands just beyond the shoulders, so one step forwards. And as you breathe, sit back into the hips on exhalation and then circle up and around on the inhalation. And then close the eyes so that you can internalize your sense of awareness. Free any inner pressures to push yourself in any particular direction. Rather, slide into that nice groove of deep inhalation, deep exhalation. Now, as you're ready, as it begins to dawn in your exploration, let this movement take a life of its own, right? Can you free your shoulders a little bit more? Is there a way that you can release the muscles in the head and the neck? Can you get into articulating in muscles of the face? Is there a way that you want to free an arm in a particular direction? Do you need to sort of squirm and stretch one of your legs out nice and long behind you? Right? Anything that you need. Is it a cat-cow expression, bowing the belly towards the earth, lifting chin and crown to the sky, and then exhaling into cat? So this is an opportunity for you to soften any frozen areas of your body. And remember, you can smile in these practices. You can enjoy yourself as you're liberating these inner pressures, the inner necessity to act or be a certain way. And how about fingers? Can you articulate tips of the fingers, all the little intervals into the palms, into the wrists? Maybe you're releasing them and circling them. Take a few more moments, especially if you feel a sense of a charge in the body this evening, and keep moving to flush that out. Now, as you do find, take this practice into your own hands, that you're ready to begin to relax into your child's pose. We're going to give you a few options to set up. So one of my favorites has been to set these pillows on your lap and just lay your belly over the pillows and relax onto the forearms. Another option here, which I'll demonstrate if you have any tension that gathers in your knees, is to take a pillow underneath the knees and on top of the calves and sit back onto that pillow and then release forwards, especially if your hips have trouble getting down because of tightness in the knees. So just take a few moments to find something that's comfortable. And the most important part of your child's pose is that the back of your neck and your head can just soften for a few moments. Some of us will take knees wider apart in this pose, and that's a nice inquiry if your hips tend to be on the flexible side. And let's really respect any need in the body to articulate final explorations of movement. If you need to stretch, if there's a way that you feel like you want to exit the pose at any time, feel free. All movements, just like all the rivers and the tributaries of this world, eventually flow back into the ocean. In our practice, that is stillness, calm stillness. And we'll have this beautiful chant to take us into this first exploration.
Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Ekam Nityam Bimalamachalam Sarvade Sakshivutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tvam Namahami. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Momo Deva Deva. Thou art my mother, my father thou art. Thou art my brother, my friend thou art. Thou art my wisdom, my wealth thou art. Thou art my all. Light of lights art thou. Thou art my all. Light of lights art thou. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Sanstita Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai Namo.
Before making any movements in the body, allow this opportunity to experience your inner awareness. The subtle body that sits just beneath the physical body. Pranamaya kosha, the electromagnetic body. It can be felt as changes in temperature, subtle currents rising on inhalation up the spine, descending on exhalation. Energy rising up left side of the body on inhalation, descending down the right side on exhalation. The pranamaya kosha is nourished at the point of the base of the skull and top of the spine, the medulla. Before stirring any movement, imagine just like the aperture of a lens at this point was beginning to dilate outward, like a great skylight, circular in shape, opening to the heavens. And with the same quality of intensity as though you were standing underneath a waterfall, letting that energy flow into the body, washing away any heaviness. Inwardly hearing the affirmation for this pose, feeling that my words are yours. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. For this last round of the affirmation, shift all the attention to the point between the two eyebrows. For some of us, this is a physical point of connection to the ground. Look inward and upward, feeling these words powerfully resonating in the halls of your soul. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. Now, as you're ready, very gently find the first little stirrings of movement. Maybe it's articulating through fingers. It could be rolling the lips a couple times or looking around in circles with the eyes behind closed lids. Get a little bulging from side to side, pressing out to the ribs on one side or the other, a little rocking side to side. And very gently, as if you were lifting yourself from the mat, gentle lift, head is last part of the body to rise. We'll come up for a moment here, and right away just shift yourself off of your legs and set them out in front of you, feet touching down to the ground. Take just a few moments to release anything in the hips or the knees by rocking your knees side to side and looking in the opposite direction. So just rock side to side. Finding deep supportive breath here. And feel that the heart is a holy offering in this moment. So lift the heart quality up on high and offer that into your practice. And we'll just extend the legs out nice and long for a moment here, giving the legs a chance to stretch. And you can curl the toes underneath and circle the feet and the ankles. So let's not wake too much into the body, but just an opportunity to let those legs and then wave the feet side to side, get a nice swing. Good. All right, so we're going to step our feet back onto the ground. We're going to lay our knees down over to either side. Doesn't matter which side you start with. So lying down the knees, we're going to take our pillows behind us. So stacking these pillows right against the side of the hip, we're going to turn our chest to face down onto the bolster or down onto the pillows. Making any little nest that you need, adjusting feet as necessary. If you need a blanket for the body, not just to keep you warm, but to keep your energy insulated. Finding the deep twist into the body. Let's take 3 rounds of breath together, pushing all the breath gently out of the body, letting the belly pull towards the spine. Push the belly out nice and wide as you inhale, fill the low lungs, expand the ribs, expand the chest, and then release all the capacity of your breath out. Again, inhaling, push the belly out before the breath draws in, expanding ribs, expanding chest and shoulders, breathing all the way, lengthening through crown of the head, and then freeing the breath out of the body. This last time, as you breathe, breathe through soles of the feet, up through the legs, into the hips, expanding the belly, ribs, chest, into the shoulders, into the crown of the head, and then release the breath. You can continue on your own these full body breaths. Breathing spaciousness, greater sense of lightness into your body. We'll have our chant continue.
Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Prema Ruperna Sanstita Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Jyoti Ruperna Sanstita Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ananda Ruperna Sanstita Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Jnana Rupena Sanstita Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Sanstita Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai, Namaste Shai Namo Namaha Thou art the Divine Mother of the universe. Thou art infinite love. Thou art love, thou art love, thou art love. Thou art unconditional love. Thou art the divine mother of the universe. Thou art infinite bliss. Thou art bliss, thou art bliss, thou art bliss. Thou art ever new bliss. Thou art the divine mother of the universe. Thou art infinite peace. Thou art peace, thou art peace, thou art peace. Thou art inner peace. Thou art the divine mother of the universe. Thou art infinite light. Thou art light, thou art light, thou art light. Thou art the infinite light. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Prema Rupena Sanstita Namastashay, Namastashay, Namastashay Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Jyoti Rupena Sanstita Namastashay, Namastashay, Namastashay Namo Namaha. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Ananda Rupena Sanstita
Let the breath be the first movement to return back to your field of awareness. Observing the natural tidal rhythms of the breath, filling into the body temple and effortlessly flowing out. Feel the breath extending from the lungs through the circulation of the body to every internal organ, all the muscles, into the bones. Feeling the receding tide of exhalation drawing into itself but no longer serves the body temple. As it's natural for you to invite small movements back into the body. You may even begin with deep inhalation through the nose and deep, complete exhalation. If you can leave your eyes closed for this next transition to the other side of the body, this is ideal. When you're lifting your body, let your head be the last part of the body to rise so that you're peeling yourself from the earth. Let your movements be slower than you think they need to be, very gentle movements. You can roll your way over to the other side. You can set any which way that you need to. Just make sure that your knees are pointing the opposite direction. As soon as you get into the pose, relieve yourself of outward involvement and plunge back in to inner stillness. Just like a stone tossed into a calm lake, the entrance into the pose sends vibration, ripples, wave-like patterns of activity outward. But as we remain still in the pose, these waves begin to subside and we find the breath quieting. We find greater capacity to surrender the body. We'll join back with our devotional prayer and chanting to take us deeper into the experience. To the best of your capacity, resist any temptation to go to sleep in any of these postures. These are opportunities for you to cultivate a relationship with the inner witness that is your conscious awareness. To the degree, even as your body softens and relaxes, that you can keep your awareness open, receptive, and even expansive. There are beautiful inner vistas of bliss and deep connection awaiting you.
Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Namo. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ramo. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ramo. From the depths of slumber as I ascend the spiral staircase of wakefulness, I will whisper, whisper, God, God, Thou art the food, and when I break my fast from nightly separation from Thee, I will taste Thee and mentally say, No matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind will ever keep turning on Thee. And in the battle din of activity, my silent war cry will be, God, God. When my mind weaves dreams, dreaming with threads of memories, on that magic cloth will I emboss, Every night in time of deepest sleep, when my peace dreams they call, joy, joy, and my joy comes singing evermore. God. In waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving. My soul will constantly hum, unheard by any.
Taking a few moments to arrive back, feeling any inner sense of expansion through the practice, any inner devotion awakened in the heart. Noticing the quality of the breath in these moments, the deep stillness in the mind and the heart. Now, as you're ready to invite your first movements back to the body, maybe it is as simple as deeper breath. Let it be slow, very gradual, returning back into the experience of body consciousness. Wiggling fingers and toes as you're ready. And even if there's inner reluctance, draw a deep breath and begin to lift yourself out of the pose gently as you will. We're going to set for our next pose, which is a supported fish pose. So you can take your setup, drawing it to the back side of the mat, starting with legs extended in the pose, pillows very close to the base of the spine. We'll gently pour our body over the pillows. Leave the palms facing up by the sides of the body, if it's comfortable with your body. Some of us would like to take this pose into a new shape, joining feet together and letting the knees extend outward. Just make sure that you have the supports around your body. We don't want our body to become a burden in the pose. Relaxing as you enter the pose. The inner space of the heart expanding naturally here. Make sure that your spine is not at too much of an incline, but that you feel as though you're lying flat with cushion pressing up and lifting you taller. But we do want the spine to remain in its natural curvature, low back curving up towards the belly, upper back with a natural curve. One more thing to be aware of here is if your chin is flipping taller or higher than your nose, this makes it very hard to relax in the pose. So seat another pillow underneath the neck and head. or a little blanket there. Good. Relaxing into the pose. Close the eyes down. If you have lights, you might shut them off, or just take a pillow or even a blanket or the sleeve of a sweatshirt and cover the eyes so that you're not so distracted by the outer involvement of the room. Shutting down away from the senses. Deep, deep breath delivering you into deeper, stiller, more peaceful space. We'll finish our chant and end together in silent space. And as you rest in this pose, feel the waves of light. If you even take a few moments just to focus your awareness at the base of the skull, top of the spine, there's no need to visualize. When the mind and the heart are quiet, it is a self-evident experience. For some of us, we may experience this cosmic energy in many different ways. It could be as bliss or joy or peace or calm. It could be as light or sound, as wisdom or power. You feel this flow is steady. Let all of the awareness rise back to the point between the two eyebrows and decide to stay here and to expand as far as your experience will allow this evening. We'll resume our chant.
Waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving. My soul will constantly hum, unheard by any. God, God. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate
The awareness has dulled any bit into sleep. Resurrect your attention in this moment, in its fullness, and witness the deep peace in every cell of your body. The pervasive calmness in every last vestige of the mind. and the awakening inner bliss of soul contact. If your inner gaze has shifted anywhere other than the point between the two eyebrows, as the king, as the queen of your own kingdom, assume the throne with deep concentration. We'll listen once more in the space of super consciousness. The prayer poem, make me feel that everything is joy. I am the foam of happiness, spummed out of the sea of thy joy. I am the ocean life bounding with the billows of joy. Endless eddies of my laughter spread through all hearts. When the time comes to depart, I will retire to wakeful sleep on the bosom of thy infinite joy, a ripple ever dancing with billows of all joy. I am a bubble of joy, struggling to burst and unite with the ocean of joy. I feel thy joy in all things. Make me a lighthouse of joy also, guiding storm-tossed vessels of life to safety on the shores of thy joy. Let every vine of my activity bear large grape clusters of thy joy. Let me drink the divine wine pressed from the grapes of all life's little joys. Make me feel that everything is joy. Let's just take a few moments before we rise to center the awareness in the heart and to feel the inner wellspring of joy bubbling from beneath the surface of life's ever-changing circumstances. Plunge into that wellspring of inner joy, free to laugh, to frolic, to feel thy own inner bliss. As you do feel this awakening joy, direct it inward and upward. Offer it as a holy sacrament. We need not clutch and hold on to it with human emotion or desire. Freely give and offer that joy up through the heart to the point between the two eyebrows. This joy is the essence of who you are. Satchit Ananda, ever conscious, ever existing, ever new bliss. Let us feel right now in this space together the inner truth that the only source of this joy comes from within. even as we experience outward circumstances that may appear to invoke joyful expression. Experience for yourself this wellspring of joy available under every circumstance. Therein lies our own inner freedom. Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. If you are exceptionally comfortable in this position, I can understand your dilemma, but I would invite you for the end of this practice to, in some fashion, roll yourself off to the side and make your way back to a comfortable seated pose. The seated posture is a very unique way to experience awakening energy in the body. So you take your time. If eyes can remain closed, don't bother yourself with the outer environment. It'll be there as we return. Keep the awareness central in the heart, deeply interiorized. As you are arriving back to your seat in your own practice, begin to sit up nice and tall. So anchor those sits bones down into the ground and free the ribs away from the hips. If you can, just recline the shoulders back and down the body, palms facing up on the lap. Do a little rocking forwards and backwards to find neutral, and then side to side. You can do little circles and spiral in. Just keep getting taller, ever more relaxed. Whatever position you find yourself in this moment, lift the awareness to the point between the two eyebrows and look upward and outward into vast expanses beyond the space of the frontal lobe of the forehead. Bathe your awareness into infinity. Feeling the effects of your practice, every muscle relaxed. Great sense of inner harmony and joy restored. In true inner joy, there's no questioning, there's no longing. We feel so satisfied just in ourselves. In such joy, there's really only one activity, and it's to share this joy, to share in it with each other, to bathe in this unity with all of our brothers and sisters. Gently join the hands together in front of the heart in prayer pose, Anjali Mudra. Drawing the physical instrument of the heart, the hands together in unity, pointed upward symbolic of the direction that devotion flows inward and upward. Feel that your body is a great channel of this cosmic energy of peace, love, calm, light, joy. Let's rub the palms together, awakening energy in the hands. Just take a moment here to hold the hands together with a little inward pressure. I want you to imagine almost like you're holding a basketball or a kickball in between the hands. And we're going to see the earth centered in its spherical form in between our palms. And feel great light and healing capacity flowing through your body temple, not as a manifestation of you, but as a grace that is flowing through you regardless of your efforts. Sincerity of heart draws on this flow stronger. Pray for the good health of all our brothers and sisters in this transformational time. Without the struggle in this moment of receding into our cocoon, we would not be strong enough to break free and soar and fly into our greatest potential. Let us pray not that the struggle is alleviated, but let us pray that within that struggle, we remain ever connected to our own sense of inner joy and bliss, and that all souls experience this themselves. There are a couple particular groups of people within this earth that I'd like to pray for tonight, if you would pray with me. First and foremost is all nurses, doctors, and first responders. See them uplifted by the peace that is in your heart, by the joy that is in you. Be joyful with them. All those supporting on the secondary line, the mental health therapists, the yogis, even direct care workers. Putting anybody into this prayer that you'd like to of your own life. And the last group of people would be all those people who are right on the threshold of falling back in to old habits, whether it be addiction, whether it be a smaller version of themselves. Let's pray for the souls who are right on the edge of breaking out of their cocoon. They're so close, and let's cheer them on and see legions of angels, beings of light, celebrating with them. You're so close, so close. You can drop your hands at any time. There's just a little story before we Om that I would love to tell right now. And it was a story of a man who had a near-death experience. And this man was trying to overcome some particular habit in his life. I think it was drinking. And he had this near-death experience, and on the other side, in a seemingly insignificant activity of him just trying to overcome one vice in his life, he saw in this near-death experience a stadium filled with beings of light who were cheering him on, rooting him on, celebrating with him in what he thought was so insignificant. So let's hold this vision for the whole earth and know that there are forces far greater than human will and energy cheering us on, that we be victorious in our transformation. Let's rub the palms one more time. We'll send our waves of Om out into the world, joining as you're ready. Joining hands together in prayer, we bow to that infinite self that resides within every heart, within the center of every soul, that manifests as compassion, love, and kindness. We bow to that reflection of Brahma, the infinite within all of us, by saying Namaste. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining in this class this evening. It was a joy to share with you and to